All right. So good getting to know a few of you tonight before the call started. One, I'm excited that you guys are here. I do like to start as on time as possible because I know that you guys are taking time away from your families and everything else that you have going on, and you're investing that into this. And that's the first reason is I want to respect your time and the time of the other leaders that are going to be here. But also, every Tuesday night we do the basics call, and then we also do a second group called Ramp that you guys can graduate into through this first 30 days. And I'll explain a little bit of that along the way. Typically, it's gonna be me. This is my buddy Champ. Champ, you want to say hi? Huh? He's real. He's a dog. That's my little Cavalier. He's about 8 years old, and he's been with me for the long run. So welcome to Beachbody. I guess. I mean, most of you guys are new. Most of you, I think it looks like most of you are ladies, which is pretty consistent with our network. Our network's about 90% women, 10% men. I happen to be one of the men in the network that have done, very well as far as coaching goes. And so I just want to welcome you to coaching, welcome you to Beachbody, and let you guys know you've made a great decision. Probably one of the best decisions of my life. And I want to share a little bit about my story with you guys because you probably don't know it. And I want you to know, who you're working with and sort of what we plan on achieving together in this first 30 days that you're a coach. So my name's Tommy. 8 years ago, it's been a while since I've been a coach. I'm about seven years into coaching. About 8 years ago, I picked up P90X after spending the majority of my life being obese. I came from the weight loss side of this thing. I grew up obese. I always struggled with weight, food addiction. I still struggle with it. But luckily and fortunately for me, I'm part of Beachbody and the community of people that are around us. It makes it hard to completely go off the wagon, right? So that's one of the reasons that I coach. At the time that I decided to become a coach, I wasn't even sure I could afford the $140 going through my credit card, right? And I'm sure some of you might be able to associate with that, like, oh crap, it cost me $140, I got to get a pack. And you've made an investment. Does that make sense, right? And so I didn't realize at the time, though. At the time, I thought it was an expense, right? I looked at it as an expense. And the reality is it's an investment. It's probably one of the cheapest investments that you could ever make to start a very real business, okay? A very real business. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that tonight. But when I started coaching, I didn't have big plans for it. I didn't really have a vision for it. I didn't have a purpose behind it other than the fact that I'd used the products. I knew I loved Beachbody, and I knew that they would cut me some cash if I was going to help people. And quite honestly, I had people already asking me about it because I had lost some weight using it. And so a lot of the people that I knew were starting programs like P90X or Turbo Fire or stuff like that. And I figured if they're gonna give me a cut of the money, I mean, how great is this? I mean, think about this. Out of all the things that you use in life, right, that we recommend to people, I mean, think about this. How many of you go to a restaurant that you recommend? And because you love the restaurant, right? Like I got my favorite Mexican restaurant down here in South Florida, and I send people to it all the time. It's called Rocco's Tacos. It's right there in Fort Lauderdale, Las Olas Boulevard. And I send people to Rocco's Tacos all the time, but Rocco's Tacos doesn't send me a check for that, right? So we're very accustomed to recommending things that we like. We recommend stores that we go to, even if it's Target. Oh yeah, go to Target and pick that up. Well, that will come out of our mouth. And yet all of these places don't pay us. Now here's a company that has, they had a very vital decision to make 8 years ago when they decided to start this network. They were up against the wall about whether to put our stuff on retail shelves and let Walmart sell the products programs, or to let the customers do it and start a word of mouth campaign. Okay. And so fortunately for us, Uncle Carl, I call him Uncle Carl. Carl Deichler's the CEO of this company. Uncle Carl's a pretty smart freaking guy. And he knows this. He knows that the most powerful method to reaching people is word of mouth. That if we could create an army of people like you, like me, real people from real places with real results that have a real passion for the products and have a real sincere heart in introducing it to other people because they know it works and they know that it can help people in their life. So that's really what we do. We're advocates for a healthier, more active living. We've just chosen to partner with Beachbody because we believe in their stuff. So don't overcomplicate this thing, right? That's really all we are. You know, we live by example, by leading healthier lives, trying to stay more active, trying to stay more engaged, trying to stay growing, trying to stay healthier. And then we recommend that to other people and help them get started as well. So here we are. I mean, when I first started, I didn't have a vision for it. I didn't have a purpose for it. Other than I just thought, you know what, if I could make a few $100 a month and pay for my new fitness habit, that would be great. Okay. So that was my original goal when I started. How many of you can associate with that? You're just like, man, if I could make a couple $100 a month, pay for my shakes, be around a cool group of people, buy a workout program with the money I just made from the company, I'm in, right? Does that make sense? So that's where I started, exactly where you're at. That was 7 years ago. If you look at my, and I'm going to post to you guys my first 6 months in the business so that you have something to look at. My first 5 weeks, I made $50, and it was from enrolling my wife. That was the first thing I did, right? I enrolled my wife. We bought her a pack. I got the $50. That's all the money I made in the first 5 or 6 weeks as a coach. I didn't make another dime. My first check, I made $19.44. That was my first check. And you know what that was from? My wife's club membership, because I got half of the club membership. So the only money I had in the first 2 months of this thing was getting back something that I had paid the company for, right? Luckily, I didn't give up. And luckily for me, I didn't sign up to be a coach thinking, well, I'll give it a couple months, and if it doesn't work out, then I'll kick the can on it, right? I stayed course, and I started making 20, 30, $40 a week. You know, every now and then I might sell a program, or I might, you know, do something. I got to Aprl. We didn't have Success Club at the time. And in the first 6 months, I probably ended up making around $500 in that first 6 months. But it took me about 6 months to get to the point where I was making $100 a week. Does that make sense? But now here I am 7 years later, and I'm not saying this to impress you, okay? But here we are 7 years later. At the time that I signed up, I was an insurance agent, and I was making about 55, 65 grand a year in that area as an insurance. In my hometown, that was a lot of money. That was more money than most of my friends made working at their factory jobs or construction jobs or whatever. And so I was making decent money. I was also the president of Rotary Club. I was coaching high school football. I had a very active social life. I didn't have time for Beachbody. Luckily, though, I made Beachbody part of what I do. Here we are 7 years later. We make multiple six-figure incomes, and we've made over, we've made over $300,000 now for 3 or 4 years in a row in our home. And I mean, that's real money, you know? That's real income. And that's really all that is this. I want you to write this down. Your income will be a direct measurement. It'll be in direct correlation to how many lives you impact. Okay? At the base of that number is the simple fact that we've impacted a lot of lives. And we impact lives 2 ways. Directly and exponentially. Okay? As coaches, we impact lives 2 ways. The first way is directly. This course that you guys are taking right now is going to be mostly about how we directly impact, right? It's going to be about the retailing side, how we work with people, how we find people and introduce them to the fitness side of what we do, okay? That's the first way, is directly that we impact. The second way is exponentially. And the way that we impact lives exponentially is through team building a team of coaches. Okay, so you guys are all part of a team, right? When you signed up as a coach, you joined a team. You guys are all part of my team somewhere. Even though I didn't personally enroll you, I didn't personally find you, I didn't personally enroll you, you guys ended up on my team. So if we team build long enough, we'll get introduced to people that we would have otherwise never met. How many of you would have otherwise never met me had this not happened, right? Does that make sense? How many of you guys were found and mentored and brought in by somebody that was not me? All of your hands should be going up, except, well, yeah, all of them. There's not a single person on this call that I directly brought in, okay? So that's the exponential side. There was a point in my coaching where for the first couple of years, I was very focused on just directly impacting people, just the retailing side and just the really getting people into the fitness side, but I wasn't very good at transitioning to the team building side yet until it clicked with me that we get paid both ways. We get paid for the fitness side and we get paid for the team building side. Everybody understand that? Those are the two ways that we get paid. And I figured this. I kind of did a math equation. I was on a mission to help as many people as I could with obesity because that's what I came from. And I figured if I wanted to help 10,000 people lose weight this year, I could never do that alone. But if I started building a team of coaches, if I started taking some of my best fitness people, the ones that were doing the programs, were loving the programs, and I brought them in as coaches and showed them how to be a coach and find other people, that together, if we had a team of 500 coaches, we could each help 20 this year. That would be 10,000. Does that make sense to you guys? Right? So your income is going to be a direct correlation to how many lives you touch, both directly and exponentially. Does everybody understand that? Okay. So for the purpose of, there we go. I'm just going to make sure everybody's muted. So for the purpose of this course, here's the thing. This is Coach Basics. Okay. Here's what I know. I've coached high school football now for 17 years. All right. I now coach football in Fort Lauderdale for the #1 high school in the country. We've produced more NFL athletes than any school. Okay.
Now, shut the door.
And I know that the teams that are most successful, the people that are most successful, are the ones that master the basics and do them over and over and over. Okay. So if you take basketball, I was just talking to Amber about Wisconsin. She lives in Wisconsin, and the Wisconsin basketball team made it to the national finals, and they beat the #1 team, Kentucky, right? But here's what I know about the game of basketball. The team that dribbles the best, passes the best, hits the layups, and makes their free throws are most likely going to win, right? It's the ones that do the basics very, very well. In the game of football, and yes, I'm using sports analogies. Whether you're into sports or not, hopefully you can relate this, but I'm a football coach. I sometimes tend to be football coaches, but the teams that block the best, tackle the best, and run the hardest are the ones that are going to win. Does that make sense? So we practice those things every single day. Every single day we practice blocking and tackling and catching, right? The basic fundamentals. So here you are in Coach Basics. It's our job to show you the basic fundamentals of who we are, what we do, and why we do it. That's what we're going to show you in the next 30 days, okay? We realize that you don't have 10 hours a day right now to put in it, and we would never expect you ever to put 10 hours a day into this. This is a part-time thing for many of you, okay? But I want you to think about this. I want you to write this down. Hobby versus business, okay? One of the best things I ever learned when I decided to do this was this, that if I treat it as a hobby, I'll get paid like a hobby, which is fine. That was fine with me at first. Again, at first I only wanted a few $100 a month, so I could afford to treat it like a hobby and maybe sign up a person here and there and make a couple $100 a month, and that was cool. But if I treat it like a business, I'll get paid like a business. Okay, there was a point where I started treating it more like a business, right? It's up to you how you decide to treat it. But here's my question to you. For most of you, you spent $140 to $205 on a challenge pack to start a business. So you made a $140 investment that got you a program, it got you a month of Shakeology, it got you a partnership business with the #1 fitness company in the world, right? The #1 home fitness company in the entire world, $1 billion company, okay? If you were going to go start a Chipotle franchise, how much would that have cost you? I know. I think it's $450,000 to start. Okay, it's $450,000. If I want to partner with Chipotle and open up a Chipotle and start slinging, burritos and organic pork, which is great. I love it. I'm not going to lie. Part of me loves Chipotle. I love Chipotle. There's nothing wrong with Chipotle. But what I'm saying is the people that decide to go in the Chipotle business invest a lot of money. If it would have cost you $500,000 to start a Beachbody franchise, what kind of effort would you put into this business? What kind of effort would you put into coaching, right? What kind of effort, does that make sense to you guys, right? So I will tell you this, you could take $140 and if you treat it like you invested $500,000, it will blow your mind how many lives get touched, how many people's lives change, how much money they pay you to do it, all of that. All right. The reason that a lot of new coaches fail is because they fail to see the value in the investment that they just made. They fail to see, they see it as $140. And listen, $140 is a forgettable amount of money. I spent $140 on a bad night that I don't remember. I can't count how many times, right? How many of you have done that? You know, right? You know, Saturday night, and you're like, oh shit, here's the check, $140, whatever. You know what I mean? Okay. So the fact is, we've thrown away more money than that on a bad night. So we let that become sort of our excuse as to why we don't do great things as coaches, and why we start and stop and start and stop and start and don't see it through and don't put our full effort in. Okay. And so I can't tell you how to approach it. I can only tell you that you can approach it one of two ways. You can approach it as if you only have $140 on the line, because $140, if you lose it, isn't going to crash and burn your entire life. Like, you can make that up. Okay. Or you could approach it like this is a $500,000 investment, which means listen, if you invested 500 grand, would you put every effort in to learning how to do it the right way? Right? Would you put every effort into spreading the word to get people through the door? If you put up 500 grand, okay? You wouldn't hesitate, because that 500 grand means a hell of a lot more than somebody saying no. That 500 grand means a hell of a lot more than people judging you for putting it out there, okay? Because those things are going to happen. Not everybody's going to walk through the door. Not everybody. If I opened Chipotle, my grandmother, who was Italian, refused to eat Mexican food. No matter how much she loved me, she wouldn't go through the Chipotle doors to support her grandson because she wasn't going to eat a burrito. You know, that's just how my grandmother was. If it wasn't Italian food, she wasn't going to make it. If she made a hamburger, she didn't just make a hamburger, she made an Italian hamburger. So I was not going to change her mind and make her think that Mexican food was the way to go. So one of the things that you guys have to understand is this: not everybody's going to be in love with the idea that you've decided to do this. And that's okay. All right, that's okay. Not everybody's gonna jump up and down and be like, "Oh my God, the best thing ever." Some people might. Some people are gonna take time. Your job isn't to convince them. Your job is to stay doing what you've been doing. Be a product of the product. We're gonna cover all that here quickly. Be the proof that it works. Surround yourself with great people. Put it out there. Invite them to join, and be okay if they don't. And as long as you can do that, and you do that consistently over time, you're gonna be good. All right. So, okay, as far as this 30 days goes, here's the breakdown of what you're getting, all right? You have me and some of the other leaders that have been doing this, Danielle and Mike, and there's some other leaders that are going to be in that basics page, okay? That basics page is your home for the next 30 days. You have direct access to us. We have experience. How many of you went to college to study something to become something, right? And you went and you spent 4 years and you invested 2 or 4 or 6 or 8 years in college to learn a certain skill, to learn a certain thing. And then you came out, and even when you started, you still weren't sure. You still had to learn some things and all that stuff, okay? So the fact is this is something brand new to you. This is on-the-job training for you, okay? So you're going to run into situations where you have a question, where you're not quite sure. You don't know exactly what to do. So my suggestion is this: ask somebody. Go in that page, post your question, post the situation. Let's discuss it. We'll walk you through that. Okay? I prefer that you do that openly on the page. If you still haven't got an answer, you're more than welcome to reach out to me privately. You have me for 30 days. All right? You have me for 30 days. I've had people offer me, honestly, like $300 to do a 1-hour call with them. I can't believe it. It's like, what? Really? You want me to get on the phone for an hour? Pay me $300 now? You know, it's crazy, but I'm giving that to you guys for free. You know, I want you to succeed. I don't have to be here. I'm going to make thousands of dollars this week, no matter what you guys do. I'm not here for me. Most of you, honestly, no matter what you do, I'm not going to make more money anyway, because I'm capped out. Does that make sense? So I'm here to help support you, because because here's my biggest concern is this: that people get the opportunity to change their lives. And you guys know people that I don't. Everybody understand that. You know people that I don't. And one, I want you to have the opportunity to change your life, but not just your life, the lives of the people that you run into, the lives of the people that you meet. Okay, so for 30 days, we're going to have a daily assignment in that page. Your job is just to check that page. Now, many people will do it every day. They'll just go in there and it's like a little 3 or 4 minute thing. Maybe you have to read something. Maybe you have to write something up, okay? But it's not going to take up your whole day. I would just suggest that you be in contact with that page. Some people will go in a couple times during the week and just do a few of the assignments, bam, bam, bam. Does that make sense? I don't care which way you do that. It's up to you. This is your business. It's up to you to determine how you're going to do that. But I would honestly, if I were you guys, I would check in every day, right? I mean, this is if you were going to do a part-time job, you would put in part-time effort. That's what you're going to do. So the daily assignments, the weekly meetings, what we're doing tonight is going to be your weekly meetings where we get together. We're going to do a different training every week for 4 weeks. Tonight's sort of the opening kickoff call. Next week, we're going to talk about the 5-step process and some of these things that we talk about. The next week, we'll talk about, social media and how to get better on social media and through Facebook. All right. And all of those things. So the weekly meetings, I prefer that you're here live. We can't always guarantee a recording. Okay. I realize that life happens. We do try to record these things and we will post the recordings in the page within 24 hours. All right. But I can't always guarantee that. Sometimes the computer's glitching or the technology's glitching. I can't control technology. All I can control is the fact that I'm here doing what I said I would do. All right. And then personal development is going to be part of what you do. My dog's growling. Can you hear that? He's getting mad. I said personal development. And he's like, personal development is going to be one of the 3 vital behaviors. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But your personal development that we're going to introduce you to is Danny Johnson's First Steps to Wealth book. You can download it online. You can order it. We'll post a link in the basics page for you to make sure that you have that. All right. Yes, we read. Yes, we listen to good stuff. Okay. How many of you agree? We're going to talk about personal development here for a second. How many of you agree that what you feed your body food-wise impacts how you feel? Okay. Right. That when you're eating healthier food, your body rewards you. Does that make sense? Right. If you put crap in your mouth, you feel like what? You feel like crap. Okay. If you put health in your mouth, you feel healthy. It's pretty simple. Okay. Well, the thing is this, we got to be really careful about not only what we put in our mouths, but what we put in our eyes and ears. That everything as it turns out, and I never understood this before I was a coach, as it turns out, the stuff that we feed ourselves through our ears and through our eyes, what we read, what we listen to, impacts how we feel, how we think. Okay, so there's a reason why personal development is so strenuously, because here's the thing, the world feeds us crap. The world is feeding us fast food information through our eyes and our ears continuously. It's dumping crap in the music we listen to, the movies we watch, the news shows, the media, all of that stuff. Okay, the stuff that we're reading every single day or listening to every single day fills us with crap, makes us feel bad. So we have to replace that, and we have to purposely put in the good stuff, not just in our mouths, but in our eyes and ears. That's why personal development is such a big part of what we do and what we're going to talk about. I got introduced to personal development through Beachbody. It's an important thing. We're going to introduce you to that. Personal development is just you continuing down a path where you're learning and growing as a human being, right? For some reason, and especially in the United States, we get done with school and all of a sudden we think we're done learning. We don't study anymore. The most vital thing that you can teach yourself is the self-study stuff that we do as adults, okay? We've done a ton of it. We're going to introduce you to some of that along the way. We can always make recommendations to you as well. But we're going to do personal development, which takes me to this, the main topics. If I were you guys going through this 30 days, here's the things that I would want to make sure I have nailed down within this 30 days, okay? Here's the basics. These are the basics that I'm going to look for, the basics I'm going to want to get good at, okay? And the first one is the 3 vital behaviors, right? The 3 vital behaviors where there's a reason we call them vital. Without them, you die as a coach. Does that make sense? Without them, okay? So they're vital. We already discussed one, which is personal development, all right? Personal development is a vital behavior. It's 33% of the equation. Okay, it's just like eating. If nutrition is 80% of your physical results, you could work out till you're blue in the face, but you can't, outwork a bad diet. It's the same with coaching. That if you're out there trying to help people, but you've fed yourself a bad diet of information and thinking, you're going to get bad results with people. And at the core of what we are is how good can we get with people, right? So number one is this: be a product of the product, which includes the fitness programs, okay? I would recommend that you start using your Beachbody on demand. That's the future of where we're going. It's not going to be necessarily DVDs, but if you're a club member and you have that Beachbody on demand, use it. Talk about it. Okay? I actually did. I had a buddy that came down to visit, and I pulled up Beachbody on demand right here in my little living area, and we did it right on my laptop. And he's like, "That's pretty cool. How do I get that?" And I'm like, "Well, you just you get the quarterly club membership." And if I would have used a DVD, he probably wouldn't have got it, right? Does that make sense? But because I was using Beachbody on demand, he now signed up. He just signed up yesterday for his Beachbody on demand club membership, which is going to pay me every quarter that he keeps it. Okay. So being a product of the product, Shakeology, write this down. Shakeology is 70% of our network's distribution. That is, as a network, that's our flagship product. So you have the company is out there. So it always confused me, because here's what happens with new coaches. New coaches get so hung up on the fitness programs, which is a big part of who we are. But all of a sudden, somebody burns a DVD, somebody gets it off of Amazon, and all of a sudden they're like, I can't believe it. I can't sell it to anybody because they go to Amazon and get it. Listen, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. The fitness programs, that's where Beachbody on demand, they can't burn Beachbody on demand. Can you burn Netflix? No. Right? They can only get Beachbody on demand from one place. That's us. Okay? So that's why I'm telling you, use it, talk about it, be about it. But Shakeology is 70% of our network distribution. When people buy fitness, they buy it one time. When they buy Shakeology, they drink it, they use it, they get it month after month. Well, we can earn money every month that they're consuming that. That is our biggest consumer. But we have many other awesome products too. E&E, pre-workout, okay? The protein bars, if you haven't tried them, order a box. They taste like money. They're awesome. All of those things. So, Ultimate Reset as a cleanse that people can use, and the supplements that come with that. We have creatine, like for the guys, we have creatine, we have sumo root, we have base whey protein, the base shake, all that kind of stuff. But Shakeology is the monster. But product of the product. So that's the thing. You got to check your belief on Shakeology. Listen, if it's 70% of what we do, you better be fully on board with it. Does that make sense? You better be fully on board with it. It means you better be using it. You better believe in it. You better believe that it's worth the $4 a day that it costs somebody to drink it. Okay? They're going to spend $4 a day on something. They might as well spend it on stuff that is the healthiest stuff in the world. Okay? Versus Red Bull, versus Starbucks, versus any of the other stuff that isn't going to make them feel good. Being a product of the product. Number two is this. The number two vital behavior is this: inviting. I want you to put down inviting and following up. To me, because the follow-up stuff is pretty important. We got to follow up. All right. But we invite people to two things. We invite people to our challenge groups, and we invite them to be coaches. How many of you got invited to start a fitness program or join a challenge group or something? How many of you, you got invited on the fitness side first, right? And how many of you did that for a while? Okay. And then you were doing good with it and you felt good about it. And then you said, man, maybe I'll be a coach now. And then they invited you to be a coach because they saw you were doing good. How many of you came in that way? Go ahead, raise your hands. I want to see. Oh, so you guys see all the hands. That's exactly what we're going to teach you. Exactly how you came in is exactly what we're going to teach you in this 30 days. You think you can learn that? That's what we call, write this down, the challenge group system. It wasn't by accident that happened with you. Okay? It wasn't by accident. It was by design. That's how we move people. That's how we build. Okay? That's how we impact people is we start people out as challengers, right? We help them get through that first 30, 60, 90 days, whatever it is, however long they need. And once they go from just being a user to being enthusiastic, so write that down. People, once they get enthusiastic, that's when we get coaching in front of them and say, listen, you're doing great. Have you ever thought about being a coach? Have you ever considered being a coach? We're all the same stuff that your coaches use to get you to the point where you're at. we're going to teach you how to do that with other people. All right. And because you came in that way, you should understand it. Okay. But that's what we invite to. How many of you think you can do that? You can get people started on a fitness program, and then once they're excited about it, you can recommend that they become a coach with you. Okay. See, it's not that freaking hard. Okay. I don't know why we make it, sometimes that we make it hard. We make it harder than what it should be. It's not that hard. Okay. And then the third vital behavior is personal development, which we already talked about. So I'm not going to hit that anymore. Obviously, I'm a believer in that. But you want to get really good with challenge groups and challenge packs, the challenge group system. You want to understand that, okay? You want to understand Success Club. Success Club is our monthly marker. It's also how we qualify for free customers, okay? So we have a company, Beachbody, spends $150 million. How many of you think that the majority of people have heard about Beachbody? They've heard about something that we do, right? Okay. Listen, everywhere I go, they might only know Insanity. They don't know it's all together. They don't understand Beachbody. They might not know what Beachbody is, but they know something that we do. They know Insanity. They know T25. They know 21 Day Fix. They know P90X. They've heard of Shakeology, whatever. They haven't put it all under one umbrella. Here's the thing. This is what makes us very unique in the network marketing marketplace is most companies that offer home businesses don't come with this much brand awareness. So people already know that our stuff is legit. There's no denying it, right? So that's a huge benefit to us because we don't have to convince them it's legit. We just have to introduce it to them, tell them we're using it, and tell them it would be good for them. But Success Club is our monthly marker. That's how we have this company spend $150 million a year with all this brand name recognition. They get thousands of customers every month, and they give those customers away to people like us if we qualify. Okay? How we qualify is to get in Success Club. Okay? So let me just break down Success Club to you. Success Club is this. Every time you enroll somebody in a challenge pack, you get 2 Success Club points. All right? If you score 5 points, which is 3 people that you find, then the company's going to give you people that they found. They're going to give you the fitness only people, right? The people that bought off an infomercial. They're going to give you those. All right. If you get to 10 points, which is 5 people on a pack, now you get 2 sets of customers. You get the first set, but you also get the Shakeology customers that come and they pay you, that you're guaranteed to make money on them. Does everybody understand that? So you got to make, being in Success Club. So which also requires you to be Emerald. So you want to understand Emerald. Okay. So if you guys were going to set some goals for this month, my goals for you, Emerald is our first promotion on the team building side, which is you sponsor 2 coaches. One of them can be your spouse. What was the first thing that I did? Remember what I told you guys? The first $50 I made was from what? I enrolled my wife, right? And I did that because my coach told me, no, you're going to want to enroll your wife first. So I did. I just trusted that. Luckily, I did that because we made, I think, $45,000 in her account last year. Everybody understand that, right? So at first, it might seem like an expense, but in the long run, if you plan on sticking around, the smartest thing you can do is do that, okay? You do that, you're halfway there, all right, to Emerald. I'm glad that we did it. If you're going to be someone that's like 3-6 months and out, then don't do it. If you think this is something that you're really going to commit to and you're going to be here for the long haul, then trust me, it's worth it because you can use it in multiple ways down the road, all right? And you'll make more money in it than it ever cost you, all right? Whether your spouse is going to work it or not is irrelevant. It's irrelevant, okay? I'm just letting you know that. We've got many people that enrolled their husbands and their husbands never did crap, and all of a sudden their husband's account is making $200 a week. And their husband's now glad that they did it. Right? So Emerald and Success Club, you're going to want to understand those. The other thing you're going to want to understand is what we call FORM, F-O-R-M, and the 5 steps. These are people skill oriented things that we're going to discuss over the course of this 30 days. Okay. How to form people and how to 5-step people. Next week's training, we're going to demonstrate the 5 steps. We're going to talk about the 5 steps. We're going to demonstrate form. We're going to focus on that next week. they're two of the most important things that you can learn going forward as you work with people. And then the last thing is the power of three. Okay. So in the basics page, there's this power of three thing that we recommend that you take and use. All right. Which tells you this: if you just do these things 3 times a day, you'll be fine, right? So if I invite 3 people a day, follow up with 3 people a day, which might take 10 minutes on Facebook or 10 minutes through texting or whatever, and I just make that part of what I do on a consistent daily basis, that I'm going to have success in the long run. All right. So that's it. Those are the things that you want to watch out for. If you can understand challenge group system, challenge packs, how to make success club, if you can understand the people skills of forming the 5 steps, and you can understand those daily activities in the power of 3, if we can get you to learn those things, that's the basics of what we do. Now all you have to do is do that over and over again every month. All right. So we're going to spend this month describing all that to you. So listen, here it is. It's 8:37. I'm not going to take up your whole night. And that's it, man. I'm excited to be working with you guys, but you're only going to get out of this what you put in it. I'm going to be here no matter what. But I've already had success. Does that make sense? So like this is not about Tommy. This is about you guys. And this is about you doing what you want to do with this. Whatever that is. So with that said, you're going to have the daily assignments every day for this week. Okay. And then next week we'll meet and we're going to cover the 5 steps. Now you can go into your online office. There's a thing called the Coach Training Academy. If you go under training, under news and training, you go to I think it's called Coach Training Academy. They have it set up where coaches and Emerald coaches, they have trainings for those. Okay. I would recommend that you guys go through those this week on your own. All right. Make sure that even if you've been through them once, go through them again. It's not going to hurt you. Okay. But that'll better prepare you for what we're going to do for the next 30 days. So we've got 30 days, 4 meetings till the end of April together. I'm looking forward to it. I thank you for your time tonight. We'll be posting the recording, and that's it, man. So peace out. See you in the page.